Hello, friends. Welcome to the No Coach podcast. This is episode 296 Saying No Unapologetically. Be that bitch. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. I work with people pleasers, martyrs, can't say noers to help them be able to say no and set boundaries without feeling like a bitch. But I want to take that a step further today, and I want to invite you to be that bitch. If somebody asks you for something and you can just feel internally you shudder or you scream or you beg or you're just like feeling your throat constrict and your chest tight and then you just really want to say no, but you feel frozen, I really want to encourage you to be that bitch. You might not yell and scream and let the inner outer. You might, soften it slightly. But when you think about it, say, for example, someone asks you to bake a cake for the cake stall. My kids' school has one coming up. They have it for the grade sixes. You bake a cake and then you put all the ingredients on it and they sell it and they raise money for the grade sixes. They have the leavers dinner and stuff. My daughter's in grade six this year. My ability to bake is very lacking. Like, I imagine if I said yes and baked a cake, I don't know if anybody would want to buy it because visuals aren't my thing. I'm a kinesthetic person. I don't care what something looks like. I care that it tastes good. And one of my things is sometimes you see the most amazing looking cake and it's dry or it's horrible or it just looked pretty, but it's got no flavor. Stuff I make doesn't look pretty, tastes amazing. But, it's not the kind of thing that's going to sell at a stall. People are going to look at it and go, ugh. Like, I couldn't believe when drip cakes became a thing because I was like, that's what my icing looks like just because I can't do it and it ends up this drippy, weird looking mess. And now it's in style, except it's a neat drip. Anyway, all of this to say, when the school invariably approaches me to bake a cake, because I know that it's coming, their little newsletters have been coming home, I'm going to say no. What I can do is, and these are the things I'm willing to do. I can volunteer my time. I can be at the stall, selling the cakes, collecting the money. I can volunteer time for the school. I'm happy to do that. I can give them a donation because I don't know how much they'd try and sell the shit show of a cake I'd make for, but trust me, it wouldn't go for that much. So, here's $20 or $50 or something. Have fun with the leavers dinner. I'm just trying to think, as I say, if I was a social person, maybe if they were going to do this publicly, I could spread the word about the stall where they're going to be selling it. I could share it on local Facebook pages. I could take the little flyers and put them up in the supermarkets on the wall. I could do that for them. When you say no, it doesn't have to be no, hard stop, the end. I don't want anything to do with this, unless that's true. But it could be no, I can't do that, but here's what I can do. So like with the cake example, I can't bake a cake for your stall, but here's what I can do. I can donate time, I can make a donation, like a monetary donation, or I could spread the word about, if they're going to sell them publicly, hand out flyers or whatever. They're the things that I can do. Another example, if someone were to ask me, I'm trying to think of, common things that people could get asked. Oh, could I help them move house? Right now, physically unable, still recovering from a burn, still have a lot of pain in my leg. It's heaps better. For those of you who have not been watching, I had a really nasty second-degree burn a few weeks ago. So if someone said to me, hey, could you help me move house? Right now, that would be a no. But here's what I could do. I could make you a meal. You might be laughing going, she won't make cake, but she make a food. I can make a mean casserole. Because when someone's moving house, often they don't have access to food because they've just packed their kitchen. So they're living on takeaway, which doesn't taste very good. So I could make you some meals like casseroles or something and drop them over. I could watch your children, drop them over here. They could have a play date with my kids, then they're out of your hair so you can pack uninterrupted. There's things that I could do. And I think so many of us are afraid that we're thinking that we're letting the person down. But if I said yes to helping someone move house when I'm physically not able, I'm actually a liability and I'm in the way. And I'm taking up a spot of someone they could ask who would be happy to do it and could do a better job. The same with the cake stall for the school. If I made the cake and it looked terrible, like a drip cake that doesn't look pretty and nobody wants to buy it, then people might question the other cakes and no one buys them, so the school makes less money. So by me saying, no, I can't do that, I'm actually freeing them up to ask somebody who can. When we say no and be that bitch, then we're opening up the person to ask somebody else. We don't have to be the savior and the rescuer for everyone. Because the thing is, chances are when someone comes to us and we feel like, oh my gosh, we feel so heavy and so responsible and like, oh my God, they need me. But they can ask someone else too. That we're not the be all end all. And when it comes to something like moving house or whatever, they could hire someone. And yes, that's going to cost more. And yes, all these sorts of things. But their thing isn't our responsibility. Sometimes as people pleasers, overgivers, martyrs, we take on someone else's thing as our own, and that shit's heavy and it's exhausting. And I'm reminded of a quote from Glennon Doyle, because saying no, and being that bitch, we're like, oh, I don't want to disappoint people. And in her book, Untamed, Glennon Doyle says this quote, which I love and I live by. She says, every time you're given a choice between disappointing someone else and disappointing yourself, your duty is to disappoint that someone else. Your job throughout your entire life is to disappoint as many people as it takes to avoid disappointing yourself. Because the thing is, when we say yes to keep the peace, when we say yes because we don't want to disappoint somebody or we don't want people to be upset with us, then we start a war inside. We're disappointed, we're frustrated, we're let down, we're exhausted, we feel taken advantage of, we feel unseen, we feel like nobody cares for us or whatever. But we're the ones who didn't speak up for ourselves. There's nothing worse than doing something resentfully. It's like, I'll make this resentful cake, probably half burn it and half raw or disgusting. Do you know what I mean? It's like, another quote that I love is a shorter one by Brene Brown. Choose discomfort over resentment. It's really uncomfortable to say no, whether it be that bitch, no, full stop, the end, or no, I can't do that, but I can do this. You can see the other person's shoulders drop. You can see the disappointment in their eyes. Sometimes you hear sometimes they might go, oh, you did it last time, or just this once, or you don't mind, do you? But you do mind. And, the discomfort of actually holding the ground and saying, yeah, no, it's truly a no from me. That discomfort trumps the resentment of going, sure, when you really don't want to and you end up doing the thing resentfully. Sometimes some relationships do shift when you start to be that bitch and say no unapologetically. I did an episode, if you scroll back, look through for the episode on the empty elevator by, it's a concept by Martha Beck. I did a whole episode about that. But letting people go from your life, do you really want people in your life who are only there because of what you do for them? Because you take them to get their groceries, because you pick their kids up from school, because you bake cakes for them, because you help them at the drop of a hat? Is that the level of relationship that you want wholly in your life? I'm not saying that you never help anybody out. You just, no. But sometimes we end up being the friend who's only called on in emergencies, or being the person who always bails the other person out. And then when we say, hey, want to catch a movie or want to do this? Oh, no, I'm busy. So they have no issue saying no, but we do. And then the relationship becomes really imbalanced. So yeah, what I'd love for you to take from today is, notice your inner response when someone asks you to do something. What does your gut feel say before the yes immediately comes out of your mouth? And if saying no in the moment is too challenging, because it may be in the beginning, say instead, I'll get back to you. What you can do, I'll get back to you, is a killer statement, because you haven't said when by. So you're putting the ball back into their court, because if they don't hear back from you, they might, or you can say, I'm not sure what I've got going on. Can you ask me again next week or something? Give it back to them, because chances are they're desperate, they're urgent, they need it done now. They've asked 15 other people, someone else will bail them out, and then you're off the hook. So if you say, can you hit me up again next week, or can you circle back to me, or I'll get back to you, and they really are desperate and urgent, they'll go ask other people. So there's so many ways that you can begin to say no and be that bitch, and build that no muscle, so that you are disappointing other people so that you don't disappoint yourself, in the words of Glennon Doyle. If this is resonating, you're like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, I need more of this. I have a self-study course called the Building Boundaries Bundle. If you go to my website, suzanneculberg.com/BBB for Building Boundaries Bundle, it's a self-study course. It's a series of videos and activities that talk you through building your no muscle. It's 50 Australian dollars, and yeah, I highly recommend it. Self-study course, you can take it at your own pace, and activities for you to begin to say no and mean it and build that no muscle over time. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.